Hi everyone, Lulu here. I've played TUNIC recently. TUNIC, this hit indie game, it's really a great game, I must say. I've played 13 hours of it, I finished it, I got the true ending, and this game left a mark on me. I didn't find every secret, or did everything. It still left a mark on me, because it did unique and creative things I've never seen in a video game before. I really love it. I really do love it. So today I want to share some of my thoughts and give each element of the game a ranking from D to F to S. You know, this kind of like tier list. You know, I will put the combat, the exploration, the art style, music, and all this in a tier list because I think it could reflect how I enjoyed the game overall. Each of its elements, and you might be able to see why I find the game so damn good to experience. So I will not divide the board into each letter, right? From S to A to B to C to D, but I feel we're not going to use a lot of these letters today. Alright, so here it is. Here are the letters. Let's start with the art style. So TUNIC's art style, it's beautiful. It's very clean. It's really colorful. It has a simplistic design, but it's really cute, and it evokes a kind of like diorama. When you look at it, you're like, oh, that's a diorama. It's wonderful to look at. It has a low polygon aesthetic. That's not because the game, you know, is trying to save resources. It's more an art style kind of choice, and I really did enjoy this art style. It was really good. I really loved getting to the game and seeing all these colors and environments and character models. It was really beautiful to look at, and the dark places. The game incorporates a dynamic lighting system, which is to say, with your lantern, because you do get one in the game, you cast shadows and there's colorful lights coming from your lantern and other light sources. Light interacts with environments, and it's really damn good, I will say. I will give the art style an S. I give the art style an S for the sole reason that it was just wonderful to look at. I didn't get tired of it at all. During the 13 hours of gameplay, it was a big highlight. And as far as I remember, it has cute details like depth of field or this kind of post-processing effects that contribute to this diorama aesthetic. Let's get to the story now. Where does the story place? Well, the story is an interesting element actually, because it doesn't really tell you in the game what's going on. It's very Dark Souls in that aspect. You have to piece it together. So where could I put the story? Well, I'll tell you where I'm going to put the story. I'll put it in A. Why do I put the story in A if there's no story? Well, there is a story, but it's not told to you directly. You have an instruction manual in the game where you find its pages scattered through the world, and in it you can find clues and about the lore of the game. Of course, the manual is in the language of the game, so unless you translate it yourself, you won't really understand the full picture. But that's not really why I'm talking about the story, because I did not really understand the lore either. There's a deep lore to the game, actually. I've seen people talk about it. Really deep lore. Maybe you should inform yourself on it if you've played the game. I tend to listen to a few theory and secrets video that people dove deeply into the game and discovered all its secrets and translated the manual in English maybe. But why I really enjoyed the story was not really about the lore surrounding it. It was about what happens in the game, because you have this prisoner that you're trying to deliver, to free, that is sealed inside the spirit realm per se, and you have to find these keys across the world to free this person, and then this person betrays you, and then you die. They kill you, and then you become a spirit. You lose your body. You do not respawn like you used to do before when each time you died, because this person is not going to save you this time. This person that you saved was in charge of restoring your body, saving you each time you died. But now that you saved them, they don't have a use for you anymore. So they let you die, but you don't let yourself die. You find a way to restore your body through pure determination. And that was wonderful. I really did not expect the game to work in 2 acts. So the second act where you search for these shrines to restore your body was really unexpected. and a very, very interesting plot twist to me. And also, you could choose two endings. Or you slay that guy that killed you, or you try to solve the remaining puzzles of the game, and then you can get a true ending. But I really did enjoy what the story had to offer, even if it wasn't told in my face with dialogues. It was pretty immersive, I will say. Getting into the world, not really understanding the language, but piecing out what's going on by the few English words and the clues and pictures, I really did like that. And apparently there's some insane secrets that are revealed to you if you really put the effort into it. Maybe you can figure out a bit more what's going on. Now we come to the music. Where am I going to put the music? I have to put the music at an S as well. Because the music is quite diverse. There's a lot of tracks, but the tracks are really good. They can be very relaxing or ambient, or they can have some intensity to them during boss battles. But I really enjoyed some specific tracks, like the menu theme. The menu theme is so damn good. Like when you launch the game and you hear that music, you're like, oh shit, I'm really diving into that, aren't I? Even though it's making me nostalgic to think about the menu music. And I finished the game 3 days ago or so. There's the overworld theme, which is really damn pleasant to listen to. And there's one area of the game which is just a tiny house. And this tiny house has this melancholic music. It's a place where no one lives anymore. And still, this music carries such meaning behind it. Also, the West Garden music is really damn good too. Overall, the game has wonderful music. It has a wonderful style. It has wonderful music. It's insane. Like this was such a good combo of visual and audio. Okay, now we are up to the gameplay. So let's start with the combat. Where am I going to put the combat? Well, I will put it in A, because it is really good. It is well designed. It's not groundbreaking. So you're just like Dark Souls. You can roll, you can parry, you can hit, right? And you have a few items that use magic offensively. You can freeze your enemies, or you have a sort of fireball kind of magic one. It is really nice. It's a nice combat system. It is smooth. It works. It doesn't do anything groundbreaking, but it works for the game. It's really good. It fits very well. It's not over the top. It's lovely to experience. The enemies all have their own patterns that you need to dodge, or block, or parry. There are a few enemies in the game. The game does not reuse the same ones all over again. Each area has unique enemies pretty much. But it's not so much that you can get overwhelmed. It's all still quite a condensed world. It's really good. It's a good combat system. I really like Souls games, so this one was really lovely. So parrying was difficult. I did it only twice, I think, actually. Because it is risk-reward kind of move, because there's a delay to the parry. You have to wind up your shield first and parry, but once you do, you get a huge window to get on the offensive. Parrying also seems to work against most bosses. Okay, so now we come to the world design. What do I think about the world of this game? Well, I will put it in S. Why do I put the world in S? Because it is such a good map. Why? Because the game uses a fixed camera angle, kind of at an angle from the top, an isometric view, and what this allows us to do is create a ton of secret passages and secrets to find. The game is filled with secrets. Like, that is to say, treasure chests everywhere that are hiding. There's hidden pathways that allow you to skip to some areas, to go to places earlier than expected, or do things in a different order. The game doesn't really stop you from going to places if you're creative about it, so you can sequence break quite easily. There is a defined path to follow per se, but there's a ton of shortcuts. During my playthrough, and I used to explore the map, I was mind blown by the amount of pathways that I would find behind trees, behind waterfalls. I really did enjoy this world. There's the main overworld, and there's kind of 3 main sub-areas at the east, south, and west. And then there's also one at the north. And there's actually 4 sub-areas that are filled with hidden pathways and hidden secrets and hidden puzzles. It is quite the definition of a small world, but that is extremely dense with stuff to do, with hidden chests to find, to enhance your character, with permanent upgradable items, or bomb walls that might hide more secrets. So the world does really incentivize you to engage fully with it and re-explore areas you've already explored before, maybe with new items or with new knowledge. And it's wonderful for replayability. This is an extremely replayable game because it's not too long. Once you know what to do, it's not too long. You can always do things out of order if you wish. And it's a wonderful world to go through again once you figure out these hidden passageways. And plus, it works very well with the art style. It's very pretty. Okay, so what are the puzzles? Well, the puzzles, well, how am I going to rate them? Well, I will tell you. Puzzles go on S as well. Why do puzzles go on S? Isn't that a Souls game where puzzles are not the main point of the game? Well, this is different. This is different. Sure, maybe at the beginning of the game you think, oh wait, this is a Souls game, there's not a lot of puzzles. Sure, there's some drawbridges to lay down, or some pillars of nuclear power to activate. Truth is, the game itself is a puzzle. The puzzle comes in multiple aspects. One of them is navigating the world. It's trying to figure things out yourself, because since the game does not hold your hand, you have to figure out what to do. There is an instruction manual in the game, but it's not in English. So you see the pictures and you need to get the clues from the pictures of what to do. That's a puzzle. But it's actually not only the exploration that is a puzzle. It's also the second part of the game. Because if the first part of the game was all about figuring out the world, becoming familiar with it, and figuring out what to do, the second part is actually more about puzzles themselves. Because if you want to get a true ending, then you need to solve one of the biggest puzzles of them all, the golden path. But I will come to that at a small later point. Your instruction manual does give you a lot of information if you think of it. And what I love most about the game is that it's not so much about needing to find items to make progress. It's about acquiring the knowledge for abilities that you already have, but do not know that you have them. For example, there's pillars that transport energy through the world, and these pillars, you can activate them, not with an item, but by staying pressed on your A button for 3 seconds, which you will never figure that you can do that unless you find the page of your manual that tells you that you can't do that. And there's also a similar thing that happens afterwards in the second part of the game. You have your D-pad, and your D-pad does not do anything through the game. But once you find a page, you figure out that your D-pad is actually a puzzle-solving device. It's the Holy Cross. And so your D-pad becomes the main focus of the second part of the game, because the Holy Cross is what allows you to get the true ending. In the second act of the game, you find a page that tells you to go find the fairies behind a waterfall in the overworld. And you go do that, and you realize that to activate the fairies and start this puzzle and go through the world and solve the puzzles that are environmental, then you need to use your D-pad to look in the world, some input directions, and then at the locations that you can find by using a spell that you can input in your D-pad as soon as you figure out how to do it thanks to the page. You can use a spell that will kind of like lead you to places where you can find fairies. And in the world you might find symbols like this, maybe more obvious, like glyphs on the walls that are a bit like this that you didn't know what they were, if they were purely decorative or had a purpose. Through the world you will figure out that a lot of decorations are actually puzzles that you can input in your D-pad to get a reward, which is or actual symbols on the walls, or like pathways on the floor, or the actual paths that you follow that actually do signify directions to input, or flowers on the ground that are shaped in a peculiar way to give you a clue as to which directions to input. But the true winner of all puzzles in any game that I've played is the golden path, the last puzzle of the game. Once you find all the pages of your instruction manual, you figure out that to open the last door in the mountains, you need to input a very long sequence of inputs of directions on your holy cross. And the way to figure it out is to go through your entire manual and figure out that on most pages there is a sort of golden element that is shaped like a directional path, and in your manual there's a page with like a grid, a 5x5 grid with numbers of pages on each of the squares, and that tells you which pages this golden path goes where on the chart. This is such an in-depth puzzle because you didn't think about it, but your instruction manual all through the game was the ultimate puzzle to finish it. It was really amazing, really good. It was an amazing surprise and I felt really satisfied solving it myself. I didn't know if I could. The game did give me a lot of troubles because it required a lot more brain and thinking than I thought it would. This golden path is really highlighted as the highlights of the puzzle aspect of the game, because it was so implemented, it was hidden in plain sight, and it was satisfying to solve. Another aspect I will rank is the replay value. I talked a bit about this before in the world part, so I will put it somewhere where you might not expect. S. The game is just replayable. It's just meant to be replayed. It has hidden secrets, collectibles, right? There's even a speedrun mode in the options. I know you can activate a speedrun mode. I'm not sure what it does, I didn't try it. Maybe it puts a timer of the different areas of as you accomplish them, but it definitely supports multiple playthroughs. When you finish the game, you end up unlocking New Game Plus. And of course New Game Plus carries most of your stuff to a new game. So if you have a lot of stuff, you can of course skip everything. So I do wonder if since there's a New Game Plus, I wonder if there's anything unique to New Game Plus, maybe another secret hidden within. I mean, secrets. There's this game, as I said before, in the story part, tons of lore hidden, tons of secrets. You find all the collectible treasures. I've seen you unlock secret areas where there's even more puzzles and a secret website that is very spooky and scary. So there's a lot going on in this game and outside of this game that relate to it. But it has good replay value. So if you want to replay it, feel free. I mean, you can do a new game and start from zero and try to speedrun it with all the knowledge you accumulated. Nothing stops you from using the Holy Cross or the praying early on in a new save file, since you have the knowledge already. But yeah, new Game Plus, speedrun mode, good stuff. How does the game run on the technical aspect? Is it a game that works well? For me at least. I don't have the space to put another S, but I would put it there. The game is 1.5 gigabytes. As far as I remember, 1.5 fucking gigabytes. That is nothing. Like seriously. This is nothing. And there's also a physics system in the game that is present when you smash a bot or a boss. There's the different body parts of PCs that you can walk and push around, and that's pretty cool. You can also freeze enemies and grapple onto them to do insane skips or shortcuts. It's really, there's a ton of depth in the game if you want to find it, and I think it's a marvel on the technical side. So overall, TUNIC is an S tier game. So much of it is excellent. It was obviously inspired by Zelda, Dark Souls, but I think it goes a bit deeper than that, with its implementation of kind of like a meta way to approach the game, and its puzzles, and the fact that most of your arsenal is actually knowledge. It's insane. This game is wonderful. It's an indie masterpiece. The last page of the game, the one you find after accomplishing the golden path, is a thank you to the player. You solved the puzzle. It's a thank you. It's the developers addressing themselves to you. They thank you for playing the game, for finding its secrets. They all signed this last page. This was their work, their masterpiece, their love. You find the first page of the book at the very end of the game. And that's the thank you to the player. And then your instruction manual is complete. That was so good. That was so good. And it was a lovely ending as well. The trending, it was a lovely ending. A wholesome one. TUNIC is a game that will stay with me for a long, long time. For its uniqueness, for the emotions it arose within me, and for the love that has been poured into the game. Thank you, makers of TUNIC, for letting me experience something new in gaming. Something that is familiar, but also that is a breath of fresh air. And that made me use my brain a lot. And I'm not used to that. I have a whole playthrough of the game that I posted on the channel. You can feel free to put this in the background whenever you want and enjoy me figuring out the game and trying my best. So what did you think of TUNIC? Well, did you play it? Did you enjoy it? What were your favorite aspects of the game? What were your favorite memories of the game? And what did you think of the Golden Path if you experienced it? Yeah, tell me in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed me talking about TUNIC. This is very empty, like BCD. Everything is top tier, it's excellent. I really did love it. So thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Cheers.